Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am the guy who picked Alonzo Menifield to defeat Jimmy Crute. And I'm here to talk about Alonzo Menifield rematching Jimmy Crute. If you don't know, they fought to a draw 6 months ago. Really close fight, but Menifield definitely would have won the fight if he didn't grab the fence in round 3. But Crute forced him to grab the fence because Crute was the last man standing in that fight, which was really impressive considering he was taken off his feet a few times in that fight. Alonzo Menifield hurt him very badly in round 1, very badly in round 2, and Menifield is one of the most powerful, destructive guys in the division. And Jimmy Crute, whose chin I questioned before the fight and even after the fight, I still have questions about his chin, but he survived, and he looked really good in every one of the small moments. He, especially early on before he got clipped, I mean, he was dominating Alonzo Menifield. Ripped him to the mat pretty easily and was working him over on the ground, then took a risk with a choke, and the fight was back on the feet, and then he got clipped and was never really the same. Although, again, as he proved in round 3, he still, he didn't go anywhere and still maintained some strong technical advantages over Alonzo Menifield. Jimmy Crute, he's got 3 losses, 2 by TKO. Anthony Smith, but that was an injury, whatever. The leg kicks. Round 1 knockout loss to Jamal Hill. That was like a minute. Jamal Hill knocked him dead last year. I think that was last year. And the one submission loss of his is the Misha Serkinov, who beat him with a Peruvian necktie. But Jimmy Crute, he's a versatile fighter. 5 wins by knockout, 4 wins by submission, 3 by decision. And he's knocked out and submitted some good guys. Knocked out Modestas Bukauskas, Sam Alvey. Submitted Michal Oleksiejczuk and Paul Craig, both with Kimuras. Which, yeah, that's Jimmy Crute's game. He's a monster on top. But, submitting Paul Craig. Paul Craig is the best submission artist in the division. May not be the best grappler, but he's still the best submission artist. And Jimmy Crute tapped him. Ripped his arm off in round 3. So, Jimmy Crute, he's definitely very skilled everywhere. And he's, also he went 5 rounds back before he got to the UFC. I think his 2 previous fights before he got to the UFC, he was a 5-rounder, and he won both fights, going 5 rounds in Australia. So there's that. And he showed in the Alonzo Menifield fight, if you don't take him out, he's got heart. He's got heart combined with his cardio, and he was able to win round 3 and also force Menifield to make a mistake and grab the fence. Alonzo Menifield, he's got 13 wins, 10 by knockout, 2 by submission, just 1 decision. He did tap out Fabio Chiron with a Von Flue choke, but pretty much everything we've seen from him is him knocking his opponents dead. Knocked out Misha Serkinov, who again beat Jimmy Crute. Knocked out that guy Ashkan Maksharov, or whatever, the guy that lied about his record. It started off the fight week. It was like he's 21-5, and then by the time he was in the cage, it's like he's 12-18 or whatever. But either way, that's what happened to him. Alonzo Menifield's losses come 1 by knockout. That was the big short hook to OSP when he got a little lazy, I think, against the cage there, stalking him. And the 2 decision losses are to William Knight and Devin Clark. 2 fucking meat trucks with legs the size of my torso. But look, what you have to look to here is that first fight. I do think Jimmy Crute is the more technical fighter, the better technical fighter. I think he's more versatile as well. And Alonzo Menifield is always going to have that power. And even though Jimmy Crute, I can't say he's got a weak chin because he's been knocked out just once, but he's certainly susceptible there. And Alonzo Menifield proved he's got the power that can make shit happen with Jimmy Crute's chin. So Menifield's always going to be dangerous and always going to be in this fight. But I'm picking Jimmy Crute here. I'm picking Jimmy Crute to win a more disciplined fight. I think he saw the success he had early with Alonzo Menifield, ripping him to the mat. I expect him to take fewer chances on the ground, not go for any submission in which he's going to concede position. And I think he's going to fight a lot smarter. And on the feet, Jimmy Crute was having some success of his own, of course, on the feet. He's a really good striker, but you don't want to strike with Alonzo Menifield. If he gets in tight, Alonzo Menifield's power and Jimmy Crute's chin, it's going to mean Alonzo Menifield is winning the round, if not the fight. So I'm picking Jimmy Crute. I'm picking him to fight a more disciplined fight and use his whole skill set, make Alonzo Menifield work. If I had a gun to my head, I'd say he gets a finish because he's a really good finisher, but nobody's ever submitted Alonzo Menifield, and again, the only knockout was a short, surprising hook from an OSP. So Crute could definitely win a decision, but my pick is Jimmy Crute to win this fight. My heart's not totally into it, even at even money. Enough for me to throw a sprinkle, minus 115. I threw it in a few parlays, but really, in general, big picture, I'm staying away from this. But yeah, the pick is Jimmy Crute. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.